the New 80s Revolution with Jason Nupp, a one-and-all show full of fun where anything can and does happen. Pickups, fan mail, toy reviews, camping with the New 80s Revolution Jr. Whatever the heck else does not fit into a specific category, Jason covers it right here, folks. And now, the host of the New 80s Revolution, Jason Nupp.
Hey everybody, Jason Nupp, New 80s Revolution, back down here in the cave for your favorite show and mine. That's right, it's the TN80sR half-hour power hour. We're doing it again right now, and we're going to waste no time, and we're going to jump right into the questions so we get as many answered as possible in this half-hour show. Thank you all for the massive amount of views on the New 80s Revolution and Wife TN80sR half-hour power hour. She enjoyed it. She was very nervous before coming down, wanted to do a few rehearsals, and I was like, you don't rehearse on the New 80s Revolution, no indeed. You just get in there and you go. And she did, and all of your comments, 100%, congratulatory and positive. So thanks for that. That is going to turn into a New 80s Revolution and Wife house tour. We will be doing that whenever we can find time. Hopefully in the next week or so, after we, put the children down. We'd probably have to do it late at night because they're just everywhere, these two children. Makes it look like I have about 8 or 9 children when I actually have 2. But anyway, let's get right into it. The first question is going to be asked by me. How many Trapper Keepers are you going to buy from Walmart? Well, all of them. So far we have 2. And I dig this one. This one's a little more, I don't know, is this a little more feminine? Is this the girl's Trapper Keeper? Yeah, that's right, I said girl in 2021. Is this the girl's Trapper Keeper? I don't know. But I love it. And it's got the purple folder, it's got the black folder. And we're rocking our second Trapper Keeper. That's right. Love those. All right, let's get into the real questions, of course, guys. And we've got our timer here so that I don't go over. All right, first up. This is more from well, actually, you know what? We asked his questions. Jason Lundgren. We've asked your questions already. You've got 3 more to go. Don't worry, we're going to get them. But I want to give everybody else who has not been asked, whose question has not been read yet, a chance before we get into asking questions. So some people sent like 6, 5, 14 questions, and I wanted to give other people a chance before I went back to those guys. So anyway, let's go with my man, Tater Rogers, ladies and gentlemen. Tater Rogers has a couple of questions. He says, well, first of all, hello, Tater Rogers. And he says, what's your most valuable 80s collectible? And it's a good question. My most valuable 80s collectible. Honestly, I'm going to answer this as if it's one item, because, so far, a complete 1983, 1984, 1985, and half a complete 1986 G.I. Joe collection's got to be worth something. The entire loose collection of LJNs has to be worth something. The carded figures are sickly priced, so, that's just off the charts. But looking around at just your plain old stuff, probably nothing really jumps out collectible or price-wise with all my common stuff. I mean, there's nothing over the top. I'd probably have to say, some of the black card LJNs. But none of them are in, like, pristine condition. They have cracks in the bubble and, So maybe the Hulk Hogan autographed LJN carded 5-back. I could probably get maybe closer to $1,000 for it. And I think that's probably the one Yeah, I could probably package up the ring in the box, the Sling 'em Fling 'em ring, and get 500 or 600 for that. But yeah, I would say, I guess I'll say the autographed Hogan LJN. I would assume, just because carded LJN figures are just stupidly priced now. He says, can we get a complete tour of all your 80s stuff? Yeah, I've done it every year, and I think I've already done it this year. Maybe, you know what I need to do on the tube is I need to like, what is it called? Where you put all of your similar videos into one folder on YouTube. I forget what it's called. But it makes it easier for you guys to watch. Like I'll group all the LJN videos in a playlist. A tough word to remember there. Playlist. You know, if you go back earlier this year, I think I did an 80s tour of the room. And I try to do one every year, you know. But we are going to do an 80s house tour. I said that earlier. Well, a tour of our house. It's not an 80s house. That would be a fantasy. That's a dream I have, an 80s house. But Mrs. Rev and I are going to do a house tour, and we'll take some shots from her perspective, from my perspective, from our perspective around the house. So you can see the house. You've seen that before too, but it's changed. All right, so that's that. So Tater, we're going to slide in one more question for Tater. He says, I'm trying to customize my own 80s man cave. Any idea where to get arcade carpet and memorabilia? You have any favorite places you order from? No, not really. I don't. Honestly, I think when those 1-Up arcades came out, Target and Walmart were selling some cool memorabilia to go with the arcades. They had like neon Pac-Man stuff. Honestly, Amazon has become the place for everything for me. So my guess is that you would love Amazon for all that stuff, because I think a lot of that stuff might be handmade even, you know, from people. But go check out Amazon. Still check out Walmart and Target. In the video game aisles of Target, there's a video game collectibles section, and they often have those neon Pac-Man lights and I don't know, other stuff. Thanks, Tater. Bucky749 is the YouTube channel. Go check him out, Bucky749. He and his brother Jeremy, pretty cool, pretty awesome brother relationship going on there. Those two guys have a very, very cool, relaxed, easygoing personality. And they love them some comics and some cartoons and wrestling, of course. And Bucky there, Bucky749, go check him out. So it says, okay, Jeremy and I will throw a couple questions at you. The first two are from Jeremy. Jeremy is Bucky's brother. What's up, Jeremy? Thanks for your questions. He says, what is your favorite Sega game as a kid and now? My favorite, there's a couple. As a kid, I've always loved sports games, and I know that they are. I guess that really tells you that I'm not a gamer, because like I should say Toe Jam and Earl or you know, I don't know, all those kinds of awesome side-scrolling games for Sega Genesis, because they had wonderful selections. But I was always a sports game guy, and I loved World Series baseball for Sega Genesis, because it was like the first baseball game that I liked that kept stats, right? So you could, you know, win-loss records and player stats. So I would always like, you know, back then I didn't care that I was hitting 75 home runs a game or winning, you know, 130 out of 162 games. But I enjoyed World Series baseball. It was the first baseball game that I really liked. Also, Road Rash. Remember, I'm really a non-traditional gamer. Like, who likes Road Rash? I loved it. I loved the motorcycle beat-em-up game. Road Rash was pretty cool. And Skitchin was pretty fun on Sega Genesis. I don't remember a lot of it. I remember liking it. And I think you were on a skateboard and you had to, like, hitch a ride on a car. And, like, I don't know. But Skitchin. Oh, Desert Strike, I think the game was called. It was like a helicopter hostage rescue game. That was pretty cool. And now I only have Sonic 2 and NHL 94. That's all I have for Sega. Oh, and I have Road Rash too. But Sonic 2, NHL 64. There's another one up there that I can't read. I think it's like a Street Fighter game. That's it. So I only have 4 now. And now that I'm, a little slightly more advanced in gameplay, I might, check out some of the games that I should have played as a kid and didn't. Second question from him is, who's your favorite movie star and how many of their movies have you seen? I don't have a favorite movie star. I really don't. When I was a kid, I loved Sylvester Stallone and would watch all of his movies and actually really liked Stop or My Mom Will Shoot, really liked Cliffhanger, really loved the movie Oscar. And if you're a deep Stallone fan, then you know Oscar, right? Because everybody thinks of Stallone as Rocky and Rambo, but he plays the sophisticated Oscar. I loved those movies. I had a big cardboard cutout of Stallone and Estelle Getty from Stop or My Mom Will Shoot. I had that big cardboard cutout in my room when I was like 14. So back, I would say then, is he my favorite actor today? No. But as a kid, I could say that he was probably one of my first favorite actors. And then Bucky says, so these are Bucky's questions. He says, would you rather have lunch with the Freebirds or go to a theme park with Randy Savage? Lunch with the Freebirds. I don't like theme parks. I don't ride roller coasters anymore. And it's hot. And, I wouldn't want to sit around in line. It'd be cool to talk to Randy Savage. But definitely lunch with the Freebirds. Because that would involve some drinking and some eating and some talking. Yeah, so lunch with the Freebirds. And then he says, who's your favorite superhero as a kid? I was a weird kid. I wasn't into superheroes. Hulk, I guess, was probably my favorite superhero. That's one of the first shows that I remember liking as a kid. Like it was probably one of the first shows that I wanted to see it week by week. And I don't even know if I did. Because what do you remember from back then? I mean, this is like 81, I think, when Hulk came out, with Bill Bixby. But I would watch it. I would probably ask for it. I don't know if I watched it every week, but, so I guess that by default, Hulk was my favorite superhero. I was never a superhero kid. I didn't care. I never saw, the cartoons. I didn't care about the Super Friends cartoon as a kid. I never got into any figures. Saw the Superman movies, but, don't care. Even to this day, I've never seen Spider-Man. I don't watch any of the DC movies. I mean, I've seen the 1989 Batman. I've seen several of the Batmans. But, I don't care. I haven't seen any Wonder Womans. So, I'm not a superhero guy. Vintage Toy Theater from the Tube. Vintage Toy Theater in the house. He says, would you consider a podcast with your former partner, or has the ship sailed? You wouldn't have to work together, but could be a one-off, or maybe a yearly thing if it goes okay. Would be fun since you both have love for the 80s in common with your viewers. So if you're not familiar, he's, I assume, talking about a fella named Chris Seaver, who was a part of this channel for, 4 or 5 months we did it. And then had a falling out of sorts, I don't know. And then ended our friendship. We haven't talked since. Would I do a podcast with him? Nah, probably not a podcast at all. Because we're both control freaks and we both want things done our own way. And we both don't want to work on anybody else's schedule. We're both babies. Or at least I am. But, I think we're both divas and don't work well. He works very well with his friends on his channel, people that he's known forever. from his movies and stuff. Maybe it was just me. I don't know. Would I do a podcast with him? No. Would I do a reunion get together filmed for you guys where we just talked about, what went well with the channel and what went wrong with the channel? Maybe air out some grievances. Sure, why not? It's all about the viewers, right? I'm sure you guys would want to see that. But something together going forward, no. I don't do anything together. And that's a really crappy thing to say. I'm a solo guy. I love doing little things with people and little side projects and, cameos and stuff. But I wouldn't want to work with them full time. All right. Thanks, Vintage Toy Theater. This is from a man. Well, see, he said I said his name right, and I said it, but I can't remember how I said it. Did I say it Ball or did I say it Bale? But this is BAL from the comments, and he says, "Wait, did I answer this already?" Oh no, I don't think I did. He says, if you could watch one movie on repeat for the rest of your life, which would it be? One movie on repeat for the rest of my life. Sandlot's pretty good. I could watch Sandlot over and over again. Some of the vacation movies, the first one, National Lampoon's Vacation, and Christmas Vacation, I could probably watch on repeat. European Vacation, the kids annoy me. I don't like the kids in that one. They're weird. Maybe A Christmas Story. Maybe. Castaway, I could watch over and over again. Yeah. Some of those. His second question, and then we'll move on, is if you could only eat one food takeaway, what would it be? And if you're not familiar with the English language, folks, the London, British. Why do I say London? The British language. A takeaway food is what we here in the States call takeout, right? See the differences? We say take out, they say take away, right? Okay. My favorite takeout / takeaway food, Chinese food, or sushi. I don't think sushi's Chinese. I think it's Japanese. I don't know. Maybe it's not anything. Maybe it doesn't have a nationality. But Chinese food is probably my favorite. It's got to be a good place. And I know Chinese takeout is like Americanized Chinese food, but I love it. Whenever we're like, what do you want to order? Chinese. But sushi, I think, would also be up there, if not higher than Chinese food. I could eat sushi daily, several times a day. Hey, Jason, it's Trevor from Minnesota. What's up, Trevor? He says if you were able to go back in the 80s at your age for a day, what year would you choose to go back and why? And we answered that one. I did say he wants to know a day. I said a week, or the original question from somebody was a week, and I picked the week before Christmas, 1985. He wants me to go back for a day. WrestleMania 3, which was 1987. I don't know the exact day, but it was a Sunday. I will live that one over again. My best childhood pal and I got in the car with his dad and another guy, and we drove to Canisius Lake, which is about an hour from here. And somebody had a lake house, with a boathouse, I'm sure, but had a lake house, and it was beautiful. And it was right on Canisius Lake, like the deck, their dock was attached to their deck, and you could go out their dock and be in the water. But we watched WrestleMania 3 from that location, and it was amazing. And back then the pay-per-view started at 4 on a Sunday, and I think we got there probably at noon. And, there were snacks, and we ate, and we just ran around outside. It was April or March, so we didn't go in the water, but we definitely played outside. And then the anticipation and the build-up for the WrestleMania was just flowing through the air. The electricity, you could cut it with a knife. And then the show started, and it was a massive 3-hour show. Right? It was awesome. And all, the buzz for Hogan and Andre was just through the roof. And then the night drive back home, right? So the show ends at like 7, 7:30, 8 o'clock. You wrap it up. I remember playing outside in the dark, so I think we played even for a little while after the show ended. But then like the hour-long drive, which as a kid feels like a 7-hour road trip. It's like an hour. But, driving home, talking about WrestleMania, the best. I would relive that day for sure. And he says, what do you think of the horror movie House that came out in 1986? That was and still is my favorite horror movie of all time. Yeah, I'm glad that you dig it so much and that it's your favorite. That's good. Stick with that. I think it's a non-traditional favorite. It's not one that you hear is somebody's favorite. I like it. I met William Catt. He was when we mentioned the Hulk TV show, Greatest American Hero was also a favorite TV show of mine really early on. And I met William Catt a couple years ago at a Comic-Con. He was very nice, very personable. Signed a big long autograph with like very personalized message. Took a great photo. I don't know. The movie's okay. I don't love it. I've probably seen it 2 or 3 times in my life. I should probably sit totally non-distracted and totally focused on it to see if it really does anything for me. I thought it was okay. It's not on my list of favorites, but maybe because I haven't given it, enough time, which I will do. My man Couch Potato 8306. That's my man from the Tube. He says, first off, I gotta say this is a fantastic idea. Well, thank you. Couch Potato, he has 6 questions. We're going to take the first 2 first. He says, what were your top 3 Saturday morning cartoons in the 80s? I haven't looked at these questions, so I don't have the answers prepared. Muppet Babies, Hulk Hogan Rock and Wrestling. I want to eat, well, let's go G.I. Joe. So G.I. Joe, Muppet Babies, and Hulk Hogan's Rock and Wrestling. If we're going to count G.I. Joe as a Saturday morning cartoon, I don't ever remember it being on Saturday mornings. I liked the kid versions of the cartoons, like Pup Named Scooby-Doo, the Flintstone kids I liked. That was an amazing, that was late 80s. I was a little older by then. That was like 87, 88. But I really loved that era of cartoons. But definitely Muppet Babies. That is one of my all-time favorites. Definitely Hulk Hogan's Rock and Wrestling Connection because, of course. And the kid Flintstones, Pup Named Scooby-Doo I really like. Those just feel-good cartoons. And I got them. I got them all upstairs. And I really got to start watching cartoons again. His second question, and then we'll move on to somebody else. But when we move on and you have more questions, you just go to the top of the list again. So we're going to get around to all of your questions. If you sent me 6 or more, I'll get to them all. Don't worry. You'll come up again. Just hang in there. All right, we got 6 minutes left. He says, were you ever into the shows on TGIF in the late 80s, early 90s? Absolutely. Absolutely. No doubt about it. I was a huge TGIF fan. We are currently watching Full House. My kids and I, all of us, we're watching Full House. My wife can't tolerate it. She gets visibly angry and visibly embarrassed by the show. My children laugh when they're supposed to laugh, and they don't cringe. And that's the beauty of children. There's no cringiness, and they don't know cringe in their hearts, right? So they're watching one of the cheesiest shows of all time, Full House, and they're loving it. And they're belly laughing when they're supposed to. And again, when it's cheesy, they're just like, cool. There's no, it's so great. And that's how I was. I wasn't rolling my eyes at Full House back then. I loved every second of it. And I am refusing to show cringe during the show. Like my wife, forget it. She's gone. She hates it. She can't watch it. I love it. And I love even the stupid cheesiness, the have mercy, Joey and his stupid Popeye. The thing that bothers me the most about that show is that it's got to come from an alternative reality or an alternate reality where Joey Gladstone, Dave Coulier, he's got to come from a planet where his comedy is actually funny, right? Because they show him like going to like a comedy open mic, and people are like rolling on the floor laughing at his extremely G-rated, horrible, bad jokes, right? The Popeye impersonation and all that stuff. But I definitely watched it and loved it. We tried watching Family Matters too, or as well, and I don't know. We didn't dig it much. It was, I don't know. It was okay. The kids gravitated way more towards Full House. I think it's because the kids are closer to their age and they can kind of like relate with the kids. I don't know. Step by Step I watched. I liked that. Perfect Strangers I enjoyed, and of course Full House. I don't. What other? Were there other shows on than those four? The big four. Full House, Perfect Strangers, Step by Step, and Family Matters. I watched them all. And looked forward to them all too. So yes, absolutely. All right, so we'll get to the rest of your questions in future shows. Couch Potato 8306, thank you. My man Swiggs Sinatra, the first or second celebrity Hall of Famer of the channel. Swiggs is a massively talented musician and writer and video maker and all that. Swiggs in the house. He says, did you watch Glow or read the Glow magazine? What was your take on the show? I watched Glow because it was wrestling. I was 10, so I wasn't like, hot chicks and wrestling. Couldn't have cared less. I watched Glow because it was wrestling. And if you remember the show, it's horrible. It's horrible, cheesy acting, really stupid skits in between the matches. A pointless wrestling organization, right? There was no story. There were storylines, but it wasn't it was a show. And I watched the heck out of it because it was wrestling. I didn't read the Glow magazine. I vaguely remember there even being one. So I don't even remember. I don't really remember the Glow magazine. It's probably awesome, and I probably had it, but I don't remember it. But yeah, I would tune into the show, sure. And I would love a Glow collection on DVD. If you guys know how to get one, I don't know how to do torrents and stuff. I don't know how to do that. So if any of you guys know how to get I don't know, how long did Glow go for? Was it 4 seasons or 3 seasons? But I loved it, yeah, and I would like to see it all. The last question we'll do, because we got 2 minutes left, is from a man TK, and you can check him out on the AWMCO Facebook page, and he's also on Instagram at wrestling_vigilante. That's FIGILANTE. Think vigilante with an F, right? Vigilante. You got that? Or is it figilante? Because really, it's fig. Anyway, wrestling_vigilante at Instagram, and go check out the AWMCO Facebook page. I am apparently an admin there or a moderator, and I do nothing. I am on there, and I am so I will approve your requests to join the channel. That's right. I play a very active role over there. He says if you could first of all, TK is my main man when it comes to AWA figures. TK, my man Shane D, the second generation sensation Brian Hardy. They are awesome guys. We haven't talked a lot as of late, but we did a lot of gifting back and forth to each other, mostly them to me, of course, because I'm I don't know. I'm the worst shipper in the world, but yeah, those guys are great. But he says if you could eliminate one 80s toy line, what would it be and why? Oh man, I don't know. What's my least favorite toy line that I would eliminate? I don't know. I think there's some weird ones out there that are like Inhumanoids. Like, look, I'm never going to say anybody's collection is silly or dumb or anything. I guess just me personally. I never understood the Inhumanoid figures. I was never into sectars. Yeah. I thought Inhumanoids were really bad. Isn't that the one where they're just like little? I think Rock Lords is pretty crappy for toys. But Inhumanoids, wouldn't you just like you'd put like a card in the figure and it would turn it into a ghost or something? Well, there's the timer. It would be it would turn into like a ghost or something. And they were just like blobby little figures, Inhumanoids. I guess let's pull them for the sake of answering the question. And then finally he says, I know you're not huge on re-releases, but if you could choose one 80s toy line to be remade today that isn't currently being remade, what would it be? Don't worry, you don't need to purchase these. Yeah, sure, the Ghostbusters are out, He-Man is out, they're trying desperately to keep breathing life into G.I. Joe. Remade today? I mean, my quick, easy answer is the LJN figures. But I don't think anybody could ever do it right. You know? The figures just always look bad. Like the re-release 3 3/4-inch G.I. Joes are not the same figures. You know, they look bad. They're not good looking figures in comparison. The vehicles are exact replicas, practically, but the figures are bad. I just can't get into them. The Ghostbusters figures are identical. They're awesome. They are nice. The He-Man figures are really, really nice. I'm going to take the easy answer and say LJNs. I like that's been a dream of mine since 1989, to have some company come in and continue on with the line. But in today's market, it would be collectors only. They'd be $49 a piece. The pre-orders would sell out in 37 seconds, and you would never get them. But if they can do that right, I'd love to see Galoobs have figures re-released. Everybody was doing the retro figures, so like we've had a couple attempts at LJN, redos. Mattel did the Hasbro style wrestlers. Nobody ever tried Galoobs. I think Galoobs would make amazing figures, but again, they're hunks of rubber. They don't move, and kids in their missing imaginations today would not like them. So of course you can't put them out, or else you'll get blasted on WrestlingFigs.com forum by 45-year-olds in their basement. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that's an episode of TN80sR Half Hour Power Hour. Get your questions over to me, link down below, TN80rquestions@gmail.com. Don't worry, it'll be right down there, as the kids say. But thank you so far, everybody, for asking the questions. There are so many more to get to, so many more episodes of TN80sR Half Hour Power Hour coming at you. Thanks for hanging out. We will see you all again next time. Good night now.